Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm here for the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, and I'll be creating a 12 by 12 layout featuring the Maggie Holmes Market Square collection. This layout has lots of layers, and it's a good design for using up bits and pieces of a collection because it uses very little material. It's also a fun one for mixing up pattern papers. So here are the supplies I've selected, some paper and embellishments from Market Square, but I also threw in a striped scrap of paper from the Maggie Holmes Garden Party collection and wood grain from Simple Stories. Now these collections are available at the Scrapbook Nerd online shop, so I will list the products as well as the shop in the description box below. So let's get started. Here's what's on my desk. I prepared a frame style foundation page in advance with 3 sheets of paper, and I gutted 2 of them. There is a tutorial on my channel where I explain how to do that, so that will be listed below. I'm showing you the papers that I have on my desk. I'm also going to show you that wood grain paper because I use it all the time from Simple Stories. One side's wood grain, the flip side is either lined or graph paper, and it is available at the Scrapbook Nerd. I also have a handful of scraps from the Market Square collection, that chipboard collection as well. I'm showing you that I rounded the corners on that white cardstock, and in this tray I have a bunch of embellishments. I have stickers, cut apart sheets, ephemera, and they're pretty mixed up by this point because I've been playing with this collection for quite some time now. So what I'm going to do right now is cut up some papers, and what I'm going to be creating is kind of a layered photo mat that I will be placing on top of that frame style foundation, and it's going to be kind of a top heavy layout. Now I will put measurements for these page parts on the screen a little bit later on when I actually place them to the page, but you're going to see a lot of it does get covered up, especially the big blue piece that I just showed you a moment ago. That's because it's a layered design, and that's part of the game when you create a layered look. You can see what I'm talking about right now. That blue, you can see it, but it does get covered up. Before continuing, I do want to add some ink to all of these page parts, simply because I have a lot of patterns going on and a lot of layers, and it's just a way to make it all look cohesive. So I stopped the film and I continued doing that, and now I'm placing them on the page, so I'll put the measurements on the screen as well. So you can see the blue does get covered up like I mentioned, but it is serving a purpose for me because it's almost like the anchor. Everything is coming off of that wide blue border that goes across the page. Now at this point I do know I need photo mats, so I'm just auditioning a few different papers, and I decide to go with the wood grain. So off camera I cut myself 2 photo mats, and you can see I backed each one of them in scrap cardstock. It's actually old cardstock from Pink Fresh Studio. It's just a scrap of paper from a past collection, and I didn't have any of the collection left, so I'm repurposing it. And what it's going to do is just pop up these photos a little bit. Behind the vertical photo, there is just one piece of hidden cardstock because I just want it to pop a bit up off the page. But the other photo, I actually backed it in 2 hidden pieces of cardstock, and that one later on I will pop up with foam adhesive. When I create a layered look like this, especially when there are so many different pattern papers, I like the photos to pop up off the page a little bit because I want them to stand out. So what you see me doing right now is just adhering the main parts to the page. So I'm adhering that wide horizontal border. I adhered the photo, one of the photos, the vertical photo, I adhered it right on top of that floral piece of paper. And then I also adhered the other 2 vertical printed papers as well. I am going to leave the horizontal photo separate for the time being. I'm going to want to play around with embellishing first. I decide at this point to rip the top and the bottom, one on each of those pieces of paper, the one on the far right and the one in the middle, just to add a bit more texture, because with all of these layers there is a lot of texture going on, so I'm just kind of going with it. I am reapplying a bit of that ink. That ink is from VersaFine Clair. The color is Morning Mist. It's like a dark gray. So I'm really happy with that at this point. So I'm going to add foam adhesive behind this photo, but I'm still not going to adhere it at this point. I do know I want it to pop up, but because the foam adhesive is there, it's a little bit more permanent instantaneously. So I want to wait a bit because I definitely want stuff to come out from underneath the photo. Now my plan is to create two main embellishment clusters in the top left and in the bottom right. And what I want for that is to start with kind of an anchoring piece. So I decide to cut myself out two circles, and these are about 3 3/4 inch circles. And I'm using that map print there. That as well is from the Maggie Holmes collection. I just had a tiny scrap of it left, but I decided to use it because these are photos on Gos Id, which is, it was once an Irish immigrant quarantine station. So this is all about travel, I guess. These people traveled in the past, and on this day I was with two friends. We traveled there to visit this as tourists. So you can see I have all of my embellishing all around me here, and what I'm doing, I started with those two large circles in each corner, and then I'm coming in with other pieces. I did put in a journaling box. That's a cut apart sheet at the bottom. You can see it kind of descending that photo on the right. That's where my journaling is going to go. I tucked tags in both areas, again, cut apart sheets. So I'm happy with that, but I don't have a title at this point. And I do want it to go in that cluster in the bottom right. So I don't want it to take up a whole lot of space. So I dug into my dies. This is a die set I'm using from Elizabeth Craft Designs. The collection is called Viewmaster Text, I think. And I just took one small die from it. That circle there I cut out with some cardstock. The cardstock color was like a charcoal blue. I thought it looked really nice. It was from Simple Stories. But that title says Here Now Together with You. And I thought that was perfect because I was spending the day with friends. I cut it out and then I looked for a backing for it. So you saw I did cut a backing out, another circle that was stitched, and put it behind it. It's in that pale green paper, which is in amongst those layers there. Then off camera, I backed it in a bit of cardstock again because I do want to pop it up on foam adhesive, and I did add some foam adhesive. So now I'm playing around with finishing touches, or I'm thinking of playing around with finishing touches, but I actually can't at this point because I have too many things on my desk. So I am adhering the main things, the circles, the photo, I'm adhering the journaling box. You're going to see me come in with the tags there. I'm not going to talk right now because Chester is meowing. He's saying hello, but this does not last very long. Anyway, once I finish this patting Chester, I'll get back to adhering. So I'm adhering those tags there. I'll pop up that photo on top of it. And it's then I'm going to come in with some finishing touches. A lot of the layers that I'm using at this point are from cut apart sheets, and it's definitely something I rely on when I work with collections. Often collections come with these cut apart sheets that have tags and different journaling boxes. Well, I always use them, and that's almost all what I'm using, but not completely. Now what I'm doing is looking for something for that top left corner to add a little bit more layers there. I dug into that chipboard sheet and I found that blue flower, and I'm actually quite happy with it at the bottom. It tucks under that title very nicely, and in the ephemera pieces there was a blue flower, so I tucked that in the opposite corner for some nice repetition. I do want a bit of green there. Now I have that green tag up there in the top left, but now I'm going into the sticker sheet and I'm taking a little bunch of strawberries and kind of cutting off the strawberries and putting my flower in front of it, trying to make leaves, but it's just not looking right to me. I end up putting it there, and you're going to see in a moment or two I end up removing it. It was just like putting a sticker there for the sake of putting a sticker there. I am almost done here. I do come in with a few more finishing touches. You're going to see that I end up tucking in a little camera at one point, and it was actually a fussy cut camera. I never fussy cut, so that's pretty amazing. It was something I had done for a previous project and I didn't use. There I go, sticking those leaves in from the strawberries, but you're going to see it does not stay long. And there I go with the camera I was just talking about earlier. I'm actually quite happy with that. So for the tags, I do have to finish them off, and all I ended up doing was taking a 1/2 inch circle punch. I punched out that charcoaly blue paper, the same one I used for the title. I punched out 3 circles, put them in the tags, and then added metallic enamel dots. Those are from Pink Fresh Studio. And aside from that, all I did was my journaling, and I added one more little piece of ephemera, or actually it was a cut apart sheet above that photo. You can see it right there, just to bring a bit more attention to the photo and add to those layers. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd greatly appreciate a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the Scrapbook Nerd YouTube channel, we would be absolutely thrilled if you did. And the same thing for my channel, Scrapbooking Quebec. Don't forget to check out the shop. They are getting new products all the time. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon on YouTube. Bye-bye.